Hey everybody, Brian Tro coming to you from Mossy Creek Fly Fishing with your fly fishing forecast. The date today is Monday, June 6th. So big thanks to everybody and all the volunteers and participants and everyone who was involved in the Mossy Creek Invitational this past weekend. It was awesome. The weather was beautiful, lots of smiling faces, lots of fish caught, and a lot of money raised for a really amazing cause. So for all of you who helped out with that, thank you so much. It was, we say it every year, but it was the best event yet. So moving on to the fishing. So we're in June now. It's like summertime. Good news is there's still plenty of mayflies around. I was up in the Alleghenies yesterday fishing for brook trout. Water levels were really good. Still drakes flying around, caddis flying around, Yellowstones flying around. Still a couple of assorted mayflies, but really the brook trout are looking up, and it looks like there's some more rain coming in scattered throughout the week this week, maybe some on Wednesday, maybe some a little bit later this weekend. So we're going to hopefully just keep on keeping those fish looking up, keep the water levels good, but I know I sound a little bit like a broken record, but get out and enjoy the brook trout streams and the brook trout fishing while it lasts, because it's going to get droughty and dry. So if you want some ideas on some new places to go, give us a call or stop by, and we'll get you up on some of those waters. As far as the spring creeks go, Mossy's in really good shape. Beaver Creek has been fishing on. There's been all kinds of good reports from Buffalo Creek. South River's been fishing really well. So all these streams are in great shape. Just because the calendar doesn't say May doesn't mean there's not mayflies still around. Like I mentioned before, all those drakes that we're seeing up in the mountains, they're down here on the valley floor too. So I was at Mossy Creek just last night. There was coffin flies, there was yellow drakes, there was Goddard caddis flying all over the place. And so really the last hour of light is pretty magical if you can be there. If you can't, they're starting to look up a little bit more during the middle of the day. But if you get a high sky day, if you get high pressure and the fish just aren't looking up to the surface, and they're a little skittish and spooky, just go right back down to your nymphs and start nymph fishing. And streamers are always in. So, but water levels are still really, really good. So we're not having to, even though it's June, we're not having to use super fine tippet and late leaders yet. So that's all good news. We'll take it while we can. The larger streams, the James and the Shenandoah, have calmed back down. We've been out on them for the last couple of days. So still a little big, still a little bit of color, but not so much that it's actually beneficial, actually. So fishing streamer patterns, chartreuse has been catching a lot of fish on chartreuse CK bait fish, chartreuse critter mites. So some of your bright, brilliant colors have been working really well. And we're probably only a couple of weeks away from starting to fish more and more on top water. This time of year, because there's not a lot of bugs yet on the surface, and the smallmouth aren't just looking up in every place all day, if you want to fish top water, you still can. You just got to create some noise and some attention up there. So like, for example, Todd's wiggle minnow, which is kind of like a Rapala. It'll like wiggle down and come up and wiggle down. Floating Murdich minnows, Umpqua swimming frogs. These are all topwater flies that basically act like streamers. I mean, you got to move them along, you got to keep them, you got to make noise. And so if you want to fish topwater for the bass this time of year, while the river's still kind of big and they're not eating, as many bugs yet, you definitely can. You just got to make a little racket up there. So super fun way to fish. You get amazing aggressive strikes. And so give those patterns a try in the right places during the right time of day. They've been working pretty well. And it'll mix it up from having to fish on the bottom the whole time. So that's pretty much it for now. We've got a nice week ahead of us, so give us a call or stop by. Thanks.